はい、皆様こんにちは。TIFF Talk Salon へようこそ、お祭りいただきました。私は、東京国際映画祭プログラミングディレクターの、市山と申します。監督の通訳はサミュエル・チョウさん、そして、英語の通訳は、大緑さん、今美穂子さんにお願いいたします。本日は、東京ミッドタウン日比谷の日比谷三井カンファレンスからTIFF Talk Salon は、東京国際映画祭に来日が叶わない海外の監督たちとオンラインで行う Q&A トークの場です。ぜひ皆さんから質問をお寄せください。ただいまご視聴いただいている YouTube ページの説明欄に出ている質問はこちらの URL をクリックしますと、フォームが開きますので、質問を記入して送信していただきます。あなたの質問に監督が直接答えてくれるかもしれません。
answer to your question. You can enter your question in either Japanese or English, and if you're a member of the press, please also include your affiliate after your name.
でトークの終盤にはフォトセッ
At
ション
the
に
end
代
of
わ
the
るスク
talk
リーンショッ
session,
トタイ
there
ムの
is
時間を
going to be
取
a
りたいと思い
screen
ます。
grab
ご視聴
time.
の皆様もその時に画面をスクショしてソーシャルメディア
Those
SNS で
of
ぜ
you
ひ
watching
ともご利
online,
用くだ
please
さい。
do a screen grab so that you can spread word of mouth through social media.
それでは早速、ゲス
And
トを、
so we
お
would
招
like
きしたいと
to
思いま
call
す。
in our
はい、
guest.
ガラ部門のですね、
This
リン
was
ボ
a
ー
film
の
shown
監
in
督、
our
ソイチェンさん
Gala
です。
section, Limbo, and the director of the film is Mr. Soi Cheang.
はい、Hello 大家好。
はい、
皆さんこんにちは。
Hello, everybody.
ソイチェンさん、かなり前ですが、もうフィルメックスで、
I
意外という
remember
アクシデントというような作品
talking,
を
having
上映して以
in
来、
Filmex
本当
your
に
earlier
お久し
film
ぶりにお
accident,
会い
so it is
す
quite
る
a while
と思います
since we have talked last time.
導演佢話：我記得之前你嗰套戲 Action 嚟參加我哋嘅 Filmmax 嘅影展咧，一路到而家我哋都冇再見，我今日好開心見到你。
我都好開心再有機會至此能夠嚟到東京同各位觀眾見面，我都好開心。
今回は Limbo。
So this time I am presenting Limbo in the Tokyo International Film Festival, and I'm very glad to be able to bring the film to you.
こちらも嬉しいと思います。
We are also very
本当に
happy.
ちょっと見て驚いた
I saw the film and I was quite surprised by it, and so I wanted to show it in a huge theater. That is why we chose it for our Gala section.
因為我睇到你嗰套片之後咧，我就覺得呢套戲一定要喺大銀幕上邊上啊先至得，咁所以我哋揀咗呢套戲咧，就今次喺我哋呢個國際電影節咧就上映嘅。
係啊，好多謝大家揀選咗至此能夠喺電影節放映啦。咁不過有一個遺憾就係我自己親身嚟唔到，因為疫情下，我希望下次再有機會就一定嚟同觀眾見面。但係好多謝大會安排咗呢次網上嘅見面，希望同各位觀眾打下招呼。
本当に私こそ感謝しなければ
It is me who really has to extend my appreciation to have my film in the Tokyo International Film Festival and to have it shown on a very big screen brings me immense joy. Unfortunately,
コロナの関係で私
with the COVID-19 pandemic, I was not able to physically come to Tokyo this time,
国際映画祭のおかげで
but thanks
オ
to
ンラインで
international film festivals like these,
本当にありがとう
I am able to discuss directly with my audience online. And that makes me very happy.
もうかなり質問が来てるんです
So
が
we have
一つ
many
僕の
questions
方から
already
の
coming
質問を
in,
して
but let's start
あと
from
皆さん
a
の質問
question
に答え
of
ていきます
mine,
が
and after that we will
私の質問
be selecting questions from the audience
かな
members.
り長
So
く
I think
作られていたというふうに
this was a very
聞い
long
ております
production process, I
どのぐらい
heard.
前から準備されて
When did you
され
start
たのか
developing?
とい
How
うこ
much
とと
time did the actual
これ
shoot
原
take?
作があると
Can
聞
you
いて
tell
おりま
us?
すが
And
どの
this is
ぐらい
also
の
based on an original novel.
につ
How
いているのでしょうかと
fidelious is the film to the original
已
novel?
經有好多觀眾咧，佢哋提咗好多個問題要問啦。咁喺俾佢哋問之前咧，我自己有個問題咧，我就想問咗先㗎嚇。咁因為我知道呢套戲咧，你係嘥咗好長時間去準備去拍攝嘅咧。咁具體嚟講，你係幾時開始準備？幾時先係拍嘅？又拍咗幾耐啊？咁我都聽講咧，呢套戲 其實佢有個原著嘅短篇嘅小説啦嚇，咁我好想知你嗰個戲咧係改編之後咧係%幾多？譬如話對嗰個原著嚟講係好忠誠嘅咁樣，想問下呢一方面嘅問題。
其實我買呢個原著到我改編到依家上畫，其實經歷咗8至9年嘅時間。咁我買嗰陣時，其實個古仔本身係一個國內嘅小説啦。咁其實我經歷過3、4年，就係曾經想改編喺國內拍攝，但係原著亦都話雷米都同我修改個劇本，但係最後大家都唔係覺得好滿意。到後嚟我就決定搬翻嚟香港，將成個世界搬翻嚟香港。咁經歷咗都幾長時間，就算我拍到依家上畫，都經歷咗3至4年嘅時間。咁其實拍攝好順利嘅，我諗籌備咗半年，我哋就已經拍完曬。喺後期啊，再睇完我哋再補戲啊，跟住成個後期我再考慮啊，等係沉澱嘅時間比較多。卒之今年就有機會同大家見面。咁另外你話原著同我其實個故事個框架都係嘅，我諗人物關係我會保留翻晒，因為成個地理環境唔同咗，因為小説我喺國內，咁我哋係將佢變成咗香港，咁我人物關係保留啦，但係當然喺個劇本創作上，我哋都有電影版本嘅世界，咁或者人物關係我哋希望再行前一步，即係譬如今日你睇到呢個黃圖，佢好想贖罪呢個心態，其實小説冇嘅，係我哋係電影加上去，咁係我自己會感覺係喺個小説嘅基礎上，我哋再去用一個我自己一個諗法擺翻落個小説度。
そうですね。私が原作の著
So
作権を買って
I acquired the rights to the original novel, and that's where the development for this film started. And it took 8 years or 9 years to get this film completed and into theaters. As you know, the original novel is an online novel. And after buying the copyrights, it was about a 3 or 4 year process of screenplay writing. And there was a lot of preparation that went into the shoot as well. However, after the screenplay was written, I was quite unsatisfied with it initially. It was very hard to get it right. So I was originally planning to make this in mainland China, but that was not going to be possible in my mind. So I replaced the backdrop into Hong Kong. And so my production team was a Hong Kong team, so that required a rewriting process. The production itself was a 3 or 4 year process. The actual preparation for the shoot was 6 months in Hong Kong. In post-production, we had to do additional shoots. And finally, this year, I am able to bring the film to all of you. So, touching on how true the film is to the original novel, I think that was the question. I would say that the outline is true to the original novel. The characters are as well, but the backdrop, the staging was in mainland China in the original novel, but the story takes place in Hong Kong in the film. As you know, making a film is a creative process, and so you're creating another whole new world with your film. And so through the story, what I wanted to do was how do characters arrive at a certain sense of redemption? And in adapting the novel, I have also incorporated many of my ideas, many additional ideas into the story. Thank you very much. So we would like to move on to the questions from the audience members. First question. The culprit is a Japanese. Was this also as such in the original novel? And if not, why did the director decide to set the culprit as a Japanese person?
咁如果唔係嘅話咧，點解你今次要將個戲裏邊呢個犯人咧變咗係日本人咧？
其實喺原著小説裏邊，佢唔係一個日本人。原著小説裏邊，佢係一個外來者，佢係嚟自一個第二個都市嘅一個喺呢個城市係一個陌生人。咁其實我就保留咗呢一個味道咯。咁我喺香港其實去到點解我揀上日本人咧？其實喺你哋睇到個畫面上個香港，其實我想有一個似是非。你覺得好似係香港，但係唔係香港。咁一個似是非嘅感覺嘅時候，我覺得呢個外來者嘅身份其實我可以再諗遠少少，佢未必係一個本地人。因為外來者到底係乜嘢咧？後尾慢慢我就諗，不如係一個日本人嚟到呢度。咁呢個身份反而令到班警察好難去追查。本身個小説裏邊都話，因為係一個外來者，所以好難去追查究竟係邊一個係兇手。咁後尾我決定要用日本人嚟到香港，我覺得呢個感覺係幾離奇嘅。對於我故仔同埋喺我想切合呢個似是非嘅世界度好契合。當然最開心係揾到池田博士啦，因為有池田博士亦都好明白我決定要一個日本人做一個 serial killer 嘅。
Original story. In the original story, the culprit was not a Japanese person. As a matter of fact, because China is such a large country, and when it comes to where the story takes place, he's an outsider. And I decided to leave that way, but the story takes place in Hong Kong. And why I decided to make the culprit Japanese. And as you can see by watching the film, and I think everybody think that this takes place in Hong Kong, but sometimes you could think that this takes place in Hong Kong, but may not look like Hong Kong. And this is quite important from the viewer's perspective, because it's quite clear that the culprit is not actually from the local area. And as a result of the contemplation, I decided to make the culprit Japanese. In this story, in this film, this person is of course the criminal, the culprit, but police has a really hard time trying to find him. And making the culprit Japanese and being an outsider. And as I was saying earlier, if you were to look at the scene, you might think that this is Hong Kong, or it may not look like Hong Kong. I think this is quite closely related. I think it, as a result, can create quite a mysterious image. Fortunately, I encountered Hiroji Ikeuchi, and he was very happy to take this role. So, as a result, I changed this person to be a Japanese person. Thank you very much. So, by the way, why there was another question why you had chosen Mr. Ikeuchi. Would you elaborate on that a little bit more? How did you meet him, or how did you get to pick him out?
你今次你頭先已經講咗點解會用嗰個詞外國字㗎嘛？咁佢哋就想再知道清楚啲，即係點樣嘅情形之下你係遇到佢嘅，即係同佢係見面啊、傾啊咁樣，佢先接拍到戲嘅。前後我可唔可以咁講咧？
其實池田博之係一路自己都好想合作嘅演員嚟嘅。咁當我哋決定係有一個外來者，就揾晒各地覺得啊，我有其實都係圍繞住亞洲，因為佢喺呢個面孔其實係一個亞洲面孔，所以你唔知究竟佢係外來者定唔係一個外來者，所以佢唔可以係一個外國人，一定係一個亞洲人。當我哋去揾喺亞洲度揾演員嘅時候，我就其實一路好欣賞池田博之，好想合作。咁啱當然好彩啦，因為其實池田博之同我監製葉偉信合作過葉問，咁跟住我哋就即刻我監製就打俾池田博之經理人，跟住我就飛去東京同池田博之見面。 究竟有冇睇下有冇興趣演一個佢比較陌生嘅角色啊，或者係第一次嚟香港拍戲呢種，即係佢願唔願意做呢件事咁傾落去，佢亦都好理解我，所以佢好有興趣，因為佢話自己都未做過一個關於 serial killer 咁嘅角色咯。咁同埋亦都係佢對於香港呢個地方都好有幻想，都好想嚟同香港拍戲。咁就慢慢我哋就契合咗呢次機會。
Yes, as a matter of fact, once I have determined that this person is the outsider, I try to select who is going to play this role. Being an outsider, it still have to be an Asian person. And Mr. Ikeuchi, as you know, he's quite very well-known actor. And his face, of course, obviously is the Asia. I thought that this role should be played by somebody who is not a Westerner. And I thought that Mr. Ikeuchi would be the perfect fit. And I really want him to take the role. It just so happened that my producer wasn't, and Mr. Ikeuchi was an acquaintance. And Wilson called his manager, and he was able to meet me. I flew to Tokyo, and I had met him. It's acromophiliac role is what he's going to be playing. But I asked him if he was interested in taking the role. I wasn't so sure if he would be happy to take this role, but as a result, he took interest in this role. And also, he was excited about taking a film in Hong Kong. And then as a result, he was kind enough to accept this role. So let's move on to another question. I think several people had asked this question. Why you decided to take the monochrome film? And for that to happen, was there anything that's different from taking a picture in your normal circumstances or normal pictures?
其實我自己就冇乜好太大嘅包袱嘅，咁對於係咪合拍片，最緊要係個劇情，即係其實因為呢件事都唔係因為我哋一路都有經歷過，咁所以大概都知究竟係應該要適當地點樣修整嘅戲，咁但係當然去到真係要拍或者係去到你要呈現個畫面嘅時候，其實我拍嗰陣時就冇諗太多所謂係咪合拍，反而係個戲係咪需要係咁，我自己就會攞呢個態度，冇乜太大嘢。
For me, there wasn't any concern about taking the monochrome picture. I wasn't really considering that. What I think is important is the story, how the story evolves in the film, which to me was most important element. And the members that I had created for this film, as to how we're going to film this, how we're going to produce, everybody is quite familiar with that. So once we get to the shooting, how the film is going to be expressed in the screen was not something that I was thinking. When I was shooting, I was almost always concentrated on the story development. And because that, to me, was the most important element in making the film. So when you shot this film, you took this film in a normal manner and then decided to do the black and white at the post-production, or did you already decide that this is going to be a monochrome film?
其實一路以嚟都係去到後期，都係用個彩色板嚟做緊。只不過去到後期嗰陣時，我記得我自己一路做緊後期，去到臨 final 個戲嘅剪接嘅 edit 嗰陣時， 我突然間想試，因為佢唔係唔好嘅，彩色係好嘅，但係我覺得好似點樣可以令個戲再完整啲，再變成整體啲咧咁點解有一日我就將所有顏色抽走睇一次，咁睇個過程裏邊我就覺得佢俾我一個好奇怪嘅感覺，就係我開始已經分唔清演員同埋景物，其實好似佢哋變成一個好整體嘅嘢。好似有陣時你分唔到嗰個究竟係垃圾喐緊啦，定係個演員喺度喐緊？呢種好混沌嘅狀態或者好混亂嘅狀態，其實幾契合我個戲嘅氣氛，同埋個演員或者個 character 即係個角色裏邊而家身處咗個心態。咁後尾我就決定將所有顏色拎走，重新再將佢變成黑白。而家觀眾睇到個版本。
So in the production process, as you said, we shot in color. In the post-production process, this was edited in color as well. Through the editing process and the post-production process, I was overseeing all of this. But at the final instance, I just happened to think maybe this kind of story might be better told, completely told in black and white. So we tried to test this and took a scene and tried to turn it into black and white, and the result of that was wonderful. The characters and the backdrop, as you can see in the film, the movement of the characters and the trash that you see in the backdrop, it gives a very chaotic effect to the whole scene. And so I ultimately thought that doing it or showing it in black and white would be more befitting of the tone of the story. It tells, for example, the status of each character and the backdrop. So ultimately, we decided on completing and showing this film in black and white. That was a decision that came afterwards. And so talking about the production design, it was wonderful. So this is a question again from our audience member. And also the location, there were questions about the location. Are these spots that no longer exist? So can we talk about the production design and also the location?
咁啲觀眾覺得咧個美術咧就真係好犀利啊，好嘢嚇，做得非常之好啦嚇。咁佢哋都想知，即係呢套戲嘅即係拍 location 個地方究竟喺香港嘅邊度？咁啲地方咧係咪而家已經係冇咗㗎啦？
係我自己都好中意戲裏邊嘅所有美術嘅方向層次，好多謝我哋個美術設計老師Ken Mac 啦。咁其實觀眾所睇到嘅好多場景都已經係代拆，或者有一啲今時今日已經冇咗㗎啦。咁點解有呢個又特登去揾呢啲就嚟冇嘅嘢？因為其實當我去揾景嘅時候，或者係當我真係去製作支持嘅時候，當我去 location survey 嘅時候，好多個 team 個 production 都個 manager 同我講喺呢度就嚟會拆㗎啦，呢度就嚟會冇，俾我感覺覺得個城市變化得好快。咁好多同我哋陪伴咗好多年嘅一啲建築已經或者係一啲地方已經有啲真係面目全非。咁我成日覺得電影係除咗講故事就呢個功能之外，其實仲有一個就係記錄緊我哋當下呢個社會或者當下呢個時代呢個城市我哋身處地方嘅一個記錄啦。咁我覺得所以我就有啲現實世界留唔低啊，因為個時代走得好快，有啲嘢留唔低，咁就唯有留喺個菲林度。咁所以我揀景嗰陣時，盡量都用一啲即將會失去嘅嘢，亦都佢都好。同埋好彩就係呢啲景亦都好契合到我哋個景或者個戲嘅氣氛。
So I love also the angle that they took in terms of the production design. So I'd like to use this opportunity I'd like to extend my appreciation to Kenneth Mok, who did the production design for this film. He did a wonderful job. And to talk about the location, the location that we shot in has, of course, changed, I think. And so why did we choose these locations? Well, when we did our location hunt, the manager of our production team said that it was a dangerous place and the town itself was undergoing drastic changes very quickly. Streets now are very dangerous, are very different from when we shot. A film, as all of you know, is just not about telling a story. It is also about the city. It is about the cities we dwell in, the societies we live in, and it is another purpose of the film is to record that. Nowadays, in contemporary times, everything changes so speedily and drastically. And so I wanted to encase that in film, encase the way a town was once in film. So these locations that we found were to the story and to the film and to the aura or to the atmosphere of the film was perfect, I thought.
はい、それではですね、これも何人かからの方から質問が来ています。
This is a question about the music. Why did you, or how did you come to ask Mr. Kawai Kenji to do the music? And also related to that, the way you capture the streets, the way you capture the rain is very much like Mamoru Oshii's works. He often uses Kenji Kawai as well. So was there any influence by Oshii, Mamoru Oshii?
即係個畫面同埋音樂處理方面咧，就同日本嘅一個叫做押井嘅導演嘅作品咧，就唔似一下。咁啊，好想知會唔會你都有受到呢個押井導演嘅影響咧？
有啊，頭先你講押井守導演同埋川井智先生都係我個偶像級嘅人，即係好影響我嘅。尤其是佢兩個合作嗰部《Go in the Shell》啦，係咪？《Go in the Shell》係其實係幾影響我對於電影嘅處理，咁所以今次就好榮幸啦，即係可以揾到川井智先生、Kenji Kawai先生，咁就同我做呢個音樂。咁當然喺個過程裏邊好好啊，川井智先生係做咗好耐，其實佢係我諗 on and off 個過程，即係一路做一路改，一路做一路改。咁我諗都超過1年嘅時間，川井先生不停喺度改佢嘅音樂。咁當然會有一啲味道嘅，會有一啲味道會似《江河特工隊》或者似押井守先生嘅世界，因為其實我好老實，我好中意佢《Go in the Shell》裏邊處理香港變成咁，呢個係好影響一代電影人嘅嘢嚟。咁所以裏邊你大家有啲感覺唔出奇，因為真係我入咗血啊呢句，咁變咗所以加埋 Kenji Kawai 咁，我覺得有啲味道係會嚟源於呢個係唔出奇，但係整體嘅音樂嘅配合都配合我個戲或者配合個畫面都好好係。
まあそうですね。
Yes, well, Mr. Oshii and as for Mr. Kenji Kawai, both of these people are people that I idolize. I have been heavily influenced by their work. And to talk about what kind of influence that was, well, in this film, you see how we've done the music and the visuals. You can see their influences heavily in this film as well. And it was very fortunate this time that we were able to get Mr. Kawai to do the music for this film. And Mr. Kawai took a lot of time in composing the music. He would write and then rewrite, write and then rewrite. It was about a 1-year process for him. And he brought so much flavor, I think, to the music. And as was mentioned, the visuals and the way that the music melds with the visual is very heavily influenced by Mr. Oshii. I like really how he uses music in his works, and I've been heavily influenced. I love it. So to be able to depict Hong Kong in this way with this kind of music is something that I really was able to adore. Mr. Kawai's music would perfectly fit with the visual world that I was creating.
So this is the person who is a big fan of Lam cartoon, and at the moment, at the time when you were shooting, there probably is not a lot of film with the Lam cartoon being the main actor. But what was the reason for choosing him?
咁佢想知咧，因為林家棟先生咧，佢就好少話係做主角噶啦嚇。咁今次呢套戲裏邊點解你去揾佢做主角咧？
其實我覺得係有陣時係機會嚟嘅。咁我覺得係家棟係一路好欣賞演員嘅。咁當然我哋都知道當佢肯接受呢個角色嘅時候，我覺得佢會付出200分嘅努力去完成佢。呢個係我哋香港人圈中都知道家棟係一個乜嘢點樣面對電影嘅一個演員嚟，所以其實到同埋我覺得家棟有個感覺好契合裏邊角色嗰種斬波嗰種狀態。咁我同佢傾完之後，佢都好願意接受呢個挑戰。咁其實合作得好愉快。其實家棟喺個拍攝過程裏邊，其實 create 咗好多嘢俾呢個 character。 令個 character 更加成立，更加令觀眾入心，所以呢度都我覺得好榮幸可以同梁家棟合作。
まあそうですね。
Well,
役者にとっては
for the actor, I believe that there are different kinds of opportunity, but I believe that this is probably a big opportunity for him. Lam Ka-ton is one of the actor that I am very fond of, and if he took this role, I was sure that he would take the utmost effort to make this a wonderful role. And how you face the film and how each one of the actors and actresses take this role, I think everybody has a very professional mind, which I fully understand, and he is one of those people. And when it comes to the look of Lam cartoon, as well as the atmosphere that you receive from him, and I thought that he was a perfect fit for the role. And as for himself, we had a lot of talk with him about this role, and he quickly, happily accepted the role. And as I was watching him, I am extremely satisfied, because I feel that his performance had really put an extra element into this role, and I think the audience, as a result, are able to really enjoy watching him in this film. Another person who is who described him as the person who had the terrible experience about this Mason Lin, this heroine. The reason why you have chosen Mason Lee for this role.
觀眾仲有另外一個問題，佢話咧今次咧呢個角色可能係香港電影歷史上最慘嘅個角色嚇，咁你去揾咗李純呢個演員去做啦，咁我哋好想知你點解要用李純咧？今次起用嘅理由。
其實我認識李純就係因為佢爸爸啦，李安導演嘅一套戲叫《比利林恩嘅中場時刻》，我第一次喺畫面度見到呢個年青人。咁雖然佢唔係一個好多戲份嘅角色，但係我睇到呢個後生仔企咗喺個戲裏邊，佢嗰種好實在嘅感覺，其實我印象幾深嘅。咁到我真係做智齒嘅時候，我就諗起有呢個年青人。 因為其實佢喺個戲度好重要嘅，因為其實就係透過佢隻眼去感受呢個世界，或者係佢點樣插佢呢個呢個充滿灰色地帶嘅香港。咁其實個戲節子本身原小説就係一個年青人一個成長嘅故事嚟，所以呢個李淳俾我感覺係就係好似戲裏邊嗰個任海呢個 character。可能佢亦都喺行裏邊，亦都係佢自己啱啱出嚟開始拍戲，咁佢亦都對香港呢個地方陌生唔熟悉咯。呢種不安全嘅感覺，或者一個同呢個城市有種格格不入嘅感覺，其實幾似一個 character 裏邊，佢啱啱入到呢個警隊呢種格格不入嘅感覺，或者係面對呢個灰色地帶嘅感覺。所以就我同李淳傾過一次偈，見咗兩次面，我哋決定用佢嚟做呢個角色。同埋，我覺得佢心態上幾 ready 去面對一啲幾困難嘅處境，因為佢知道拍戲唔容易啊，可能佢爹哋教得佢好㗎。咁所以喺面對我哋幾殘酷嘅嘢，幾殘酷嘅世界，幾惡劣嘅環境，佢都能夠承受。
そうですね。メリソンリーを起用した理由は。
The reason for decided on the Masonry, as you know, the father is a very famous person, and Lee. As a matter of fact, in the story, he had used a Mason in the film, and this was the first time I had seen him, but he didn't really have long hours to perform, but I think his existence of being a youngster in the film gave me a lot of strong impression. And as I was casting the members for this film, and I decided I remember him, this role that he plays is about using the eyes, how he feels or how he expresses his feeling through the eyes. That takes place in Hong Kong, and I think his talent was something that I was extremely attracted to. So this story is about how a young person grows, and Mason is very much similar to what this person is in the story, and it's been quite a short period of time that he came into the film industry, and he probably does not know much about Hong Kong, but when he has to do that, he's still a newcomer to Hong Kong, which I thought was also a perfect. So as a result, I decided to talk with him, and he accepted this role. And that's the reason why I chose him. But once we start shooting, and as you expressed that this is a very terrible role, I mean, you need a physical energy, which he wasn't really used to. And for us, we had to create a certain environment and let him get used to it. And then we had to also try many different ways for him to be able to express. Sorry, I made a mistake in saying it's an actress, but Mason Lee is the male. And also another question, mentioning about the Xia Liu, who played the role of Wan Tu. That's another reason, another question that I wanted to ask the director.
即係流雅實嚇，咁點解你會用呢個中國嘅演員？
其實我哋揾咗好耐，揾咗我諗超過200個卡水200個人。咁香港我又揾啦，國內又揾啦。其實我真正見過面，我睇完所有卡成嘅資料，睇過佢嘅戲，睇過啲所有卡成人嘅戲嘅時候，我就揀中咗亞實。其實我真正見過一個人，就係嗰個就係劉亞實。其實佢有經驗嘅，佢亦都係可能佢其實好細個佢就出道，10幾歲就出道，但係一路喺中國電影圈裏邊掙扎緊啦，等緊啲角色咯。當我見到佢嘅時候，佢好大嘅感覺，佢對於演出有一種好大嘅渴望， 或者對黃圖嘅角色睇完小説，佢係一種好大嘅渴望。咁呢個係幾打動我，同埋我相信佢嘅能力咧，最主要係因為我睇過佢之前趙薇導演嘅《致青春》，咁佢係裏邊4個女仔裏邊其中嘅一個。咁我覺得睇到呢個女仔嗰種爆發力、嗰種力量。咁我記得見完面，最尾我哋臨走嘅時候，佢同我講話：導演，我準備好㗎啦。呢個打動我就係我覺得呢個女仔好似為咗個角色，其實佢個狀態幾係我需要嘅狀態。同埋佢除咗嗰種爆發力，同埋我覺得佢最主要係佢仲保留咗，雖然佢個角色好硬朗，但係佢保留咗一種好 feminine、好女仔嘅味道。所以其實我覺得觀眾睇落去會戥佢擔心多啲，咁所以我就決定我留下身。當然喺演出度佢都好盡力，大家戲裏邊睇到佢係付出咗真係同家當一樣付咗200% 嘅努力去完成呢個角色。
Well, Ms. Liu, as for this role is concerned, she played the role of Tao. China and Hong Kong inclusive, we casted over 200 people, and I collected and all the materials that I have, including the photograph, but none of them I was satisfied. The only person that I satisfied was herself.
And the actress that I actually met was only her. She had already made her debut in her teens, and she was doing various jobs in the entertainment industry, and I think she was waiting for her chance in the film industry. And this is what she said. She was looking for a role where she could really show her acting skill. So hearing that, I was very impressed. And I think she does have immense skill. And in a film that Vicky Chow did, she appeared, and I remember thinking that she would be able to do this part in Limbo. And we talked about various things, including film and other things, but she said one thing to me. She said, I am already fully prepared to do the role. I'm ready to commit to it, and that's why I decided to cast her. And you probably have already seen the film and sense this, but she's a very explosive actress. She has a lot of power. And no matter how hard the part is, she is willing to take that on, but she also has this charm as an actress as well. So as the audience sees her enacted character on film, it's almost as if, like, because you're so concerned for this character, you're led into the world by her. And that was the element that I wanted in my film. So, as was with Mr. Lam Katlon, I think Xia Liu gave 100% to their roles, to her role. And that's the way I see it. Okay, thank you very much. This is the last question. You have often depicted the town of the streets of Hong Kong in your past films, but are there any plans to shoot in Hong Kong in future works? And as much as you can you tell us about that?
會㗎，肯定會繼續喺香港拍戲嘅，因為始終我哋都喺香港長大嘅，我覺得亦都係一路以嚟都係拍港產電影嚇。 咁有啲 project 進行緊嘅，即係好似之前拍過嘅《殺破狼》續集啦，咁一啲動作片啦，咁我都會繼續進行嘅，希望能夠盡快完成啦，同觀眾見面。
もちろんずっと香港で映画を
Of course, I would love to continue making films in Hong Kong because we grew as filmmakers in Hong Kong. There were two projects that are on my slate, one of which is the sequel to SPL, and we are doing our best to prepare for the production, and I do hope to be able to bring further projects, further films to the audience members. We have so many more questions, but unfortunately we are out of time. But we do have some time allocated for some screen grabs. So if you could wave to the audience members watching this session so that they can do a little screen grab.
OK，
好，大家好。
皆さんこんにちは。
Hello, everybody.
大丈夫ですか？
Okay, very well. So, if we could have some final comments from you to the audience.
最後啦，你同我哋現場嘅觀眾咧講幾句説話咧，就講再見啦。
係真係好多謝電影節能夠選演到至此，令到可以嚟到同電影觀眾見面啦，亦都真係好遺憾自己嚟唔到。希望下一次我真係可以親身嚟到東京電影節，即係親身同觀眾做一個交流。哪怕影後嘅我同大家喺戲院度傾偈又好咩，都可能交流嘅時間就會長啲多啲，大家可以有一個正面啲嘅溝通。咁多謝晒大家，希望我自己真係可以再次穿喺東京電影節。多謝。
So I would like to use this time to extend my appreciation to the Tokyo International Film Festival. Thanks to the festival, I have been able to communicate with our audience members, and unfortunately, I was not able to, of course, physically travel to Japan, but next time around, I want to travel from Hong Kong to Tokyo so that we can do a physical Q&A session and directly be able to communicate with you all. So once again, thank you very much to all of you at the Tokyo International Film Festival, and next time I do hope we meet in Tokyo. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
多謝。
Thank you.
好，拜拜。
拜拜。
Goodbye. So Limbo is going to be shown for a second time around on November 6th, so please do spread word of mouth. And thank you very much for participating in the Tokyo International Film Festival.
ぜひとも会場に足をお運びいただければと思います。それではまた劇場へトークサロンでお会いしましょう。